This is my video for the ALS, DCML, and Cortical tracts. So we'll start with the ALS tract. So for this one, you'll have sharp, dull, and then crude touch, which we can also use pressure testing. So for sharp, dull, you can have an object, just like a paperclip, and you're going to tell the patient to close their eyes and then lightly touch them and then ask if they can feel you touching. So, Katie, can you close your eyes for me? Okay, I'm going to touch you just like this. And I want you to know when you can feel it, okay?
Okay. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay. And then for pressure testing, you would just lightly squeeze the patient's hand. So I'm just going to squeeze. Let me know when you can feel it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then next we'll move into our DCML tract. So for this one, we'll have light touch, vibration, proprioception, and kinesthesia testing. So we'll start with light touch, and you can have any kind of cotton ball, and you're just going to touch your patient, and then they're going to tell you when they can feel it. So Katie, go ahead and close your eyes. Let me know when you can feel this, okay?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay. And then next we'll do vibration. So I don't have a tuning fork, but the way you would do it, you would slightly tap the tuning fork on the edge of the table. And what that's going to do is going to make the tuning fork vibrate, and then you're just going to place it on the patient, and then they're going to tell you if they can feel it or not. After that, we can test proprioception. So for this one, we can just do what's called joint proprioception. So I'm just going to grab my patient's hand, and I'm going to grab their finger on the edges, and then I'm just going to lift up and down while the patient's eyes are closed, and they're going to tell me which direction I'm moving. So Katie, go ahead and close your eyes and tell me which direction I'm moving your finger.
Moving up and down and up and down.
Yep. And so while we're here, we can also test kinesthesia testing. So with this, the patient's just going to tell you what direction you're moving as you're moving their finger. So Katie, go ahead, close your eyes. All right, tell me what direction I'm moving your finger as I'm moving it.
It's going up and down. It's going up. It's going up again and down.
Good.
And up.
Good. And so another way you could test this, if your patient is nonverbal, they can mimic on the other side of what you're doing to their affected side. So if I were to say, Katie, can you raise your other arm and mimic what I'm doing with this arm? Yep. All right, good. And that completes our DCML tract. So moving on to our cortical tract, I'm going to bring the paperclip back, and for what's called diagnostic testing, you're going to use a familiar object to the patient and then have them hold their hand out and then place a familiar object in their hand, and then they're going to tell you what that object is. So Katie, go ahead and close your eyes. I'm going to place an object in your hand, and I want you to identify the object for me. Okay?
That's a paperclip.
Yes, good job. Okay, so while she's sitting here with her palm open, I'm going to test graphesthesia. So for this test, I just want to make sure that I'm drawing a familiar shape or letter towards the patient. That way it's not backwards when they're trying to read what they're doing. So I'm going to draw a letter, and I want you to tell me what letter I draw.
Okay. H.
Yes. Okay. Good. Okay, so next I can test the 2-point discrimination. So I don't have a tool to do that, but if I were, I would start with 1 point on my device, and then I would slowly open the device when they get to the 2 point. And once the patient can feel 2 points on their skin, I would tell them to let me know. So moving on to extinction testing. So with this testing, basically what's going to happen is I'm going to touch my patient in different locations, and then they're going to tell me one where I'm testing and if they can feel it in one arm versus the other. So Katie, go ahead and close your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to touch you and let me know which side you feel it on.
On both sides.
Okay.
On the right side. And then on the left side.
Yes. So if my patient had an upper extremity impairment, say the left upper extremity, if I were to test extension testing with her, she would be able to feel me on her right side only, not her left side. If I were to come on this side and touch here and here, she would be able to tell me that she could feel the proximal location and not the distal location. And so the last part of the cortical screening is the tactile localization, which I guess you could test with the extinction testing at the same time, as long as she's able to tell me exactly where I'm touching her.